Hi everyone, how you guys doing? Shabbat Shalom, I just got back from services, that's why I'm dressed all fancy and whatnot. So today I wanted to talk about one of my principal passions besides Yiddish, which is Jewish music. So Jewish music for me has been an important part of my life, and it has been an integral part of my Jewish upbringing, and I was in the youth choir, and I used to do chazonas or chanting at services, and so it was kind of cool for me to sort of talk about this, and I really like it a lot. And I wanted to talk about what is Jewish music and where it's going and whatnot, and what it is and what it isn't, and what traditional melodies are and whatever. So, like, what is Jewish music? From the way that I see it, it's music that Jewish people play. So it doesn't matter what the context is, it doesn't matter where it is, unless it's like Messianic Jewish music, which I'm not such a huge fan of their theology and whatnot, but they can have whatever opinions they want, but it's not Jewish music. So for me, Jewish music, from what I understand about it, is that traditionally it started off as the music that was played in the temple and stuff that accompanied various customs and whatnot in the religious system that was going on in Judea during both Greek and Roman rule and probably earlier. And once the temple was destroyed in 70 CE, Jewish music was kind of relegated to more secular roles because the institution of the temple no longer existed, and so they never really needed to have like religious music anymore, and that's a part of the mourning process is people don't play music. And so I think that that's where the direction of Jewish music in terms of instrumental music like sort of stopped at. But liturgical vocal music had been continuing since the time of the temple all the way till modern period. And so that was really where Jewish music had always been developing in that time period. And the art of the cantorial arts is one of the staples of Jewish music, and that's something that I love. And so the cantorial liturgical music is stuff that cantors are chanting in Hebrew and Aramaic, and even into more modern contemporary times, they would chant in Yiddish and Ladino. But that was where Jewish music kind of started in terms of diaspora related stuff. But wherever Jews are, Jews have always had music for stuff like weddings, because there's an unwritten commandment that says that you must dance at a wedding. And so they would always have their secular music and the music from the contemporary non-Jewish populations that would always influence the Jewish music. And that even went into the religious liturgical music, like a lot of our contemporary liturgical music and even some Hasidic nigunim have always been from the other like non-Jewish songs. Like there's this one song that we sing traditionally at the end of services called Adon Olam, and one traditional melody is actually German like beer drinking song, and people don't always realize that, and they think it's funny when they find that out. So there's always been an influence of the outside non-Jewish culture with the Jewish culture, and they sort of merged to sort of make Jewish music. But some of the more contemporary styles that we know and sort of categorize as Jewish music is Yiddish music, also known as klezmer music, and that tradition came from the 1700s in Eastern Europe. The traditions of klezmorim, or musicians of traveling troubadours, actually was earlier in the medieval period, as I talked about in the earlier section of Ashkenazi Jews living in the Rhineland. And so during that time period, there were Jewish musicians who would always travel from place to place, and they would, because that was what Jewish people did, they always were wandering around. And so Jewish music has always been about like our migration, and there's always been an element of sadness mixed in with the element of joy. But back to what I was saying is that klezmer music traditionally is for dance purposes, and it's for celebration, and for there's different styles of dances that they do from the non-Jewish culture. And when Eastern European Jews came over to America, they brought that traditions with them, and then it evolved, and then it mixed with jazz, and then it mixed with hip-hop. There's all these endless amounts of artists, of people who are doing that and creating new music, and like Jewish metal and Yiddish rap and Yiddish metal and all that fun stuff. So that's Ashkenazi Jewish music. Sephardi music, they have a style of music called romanceras, which are like romances, and they're like lullabies and other stuff related to that in Ladino, which is Judeo-Spanish. And then there are other styles of music from the Sephardic Mizrahi world, and Judeo-Persian and Judeo-Afghan music is actually really amazing. And then there's also like Jewish communities from Africa and China. One notable community is the Abu Yudaya. They are a group of Jews that converted to Judaism. They were originally Christians, and they saw that Christianity was a part of colonialism, and they didn't like colonialism. And there's this one pastor who read the Bible, and he was like, the Old Testament's the real Bible. The rest of it is just, it's unnecessary. We don't need it. And so the whole community in Uganda all converted to Judaism. And then there's also the community in Ethiopia, but I want to talk about Uganda for a second. They actually kept the psalms that they would sing from when they were Christians, and then they actually got like a Grammy award for like indigenous types of music or something. I highly recommend that you look up the Abba Yudaya online and their music. They're beautiful, beautiful singing voices. And so Jewish music has never, like Jewish culture, has never been a monolith. But one thing that I really like about Jewish music is that it continues to evolve, but yet there are still elements of the traditional styles that people tend to hold on to. And I think it's a beautiful thing when you get to evolve and when the culture gets to evolve, but yet there's still elements of the tradition that stay in there. And I think that we need to keep those elements of the tradition in there so that it can always continue to keep evolving. And so I just wanted to, this is just the word, this is my opinion on Jewish music, and I love Jewish music. I think, just like I said with Yiddish, I think everybody should like be exposed to it, even if they don't like it. I still think it's really important for everyone to be exposed to other people's cultures and get to know people a little bit better before they judge them. And I think music, like language, is a way to sort of understand a culture as well, just as, language is. So I want to thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.